The final thing the resurrection proves is that no one is beyond its reach. No one is beyond the reach of the resurrection. You see, most of the people in the arrest scene of Jesus, most of the people that were his direct opposition, were people of influence. People who seemed to have it all together. They were the religious elite, the upper echelon of religion. And yet they're the ones who don't recognize Jesus as who he is. But Jesus reaches out to the normal person, to the person who says, man, I don't have it all together. You don't understand, I've made a bunch of mistakes. He says that's exactly who the resurrection is for. He says a physician doesn't come for people who are well. He comes for people who are sick. And so as we gather together this morning, along with 37 million churches across our globe, we preach the message of the power of the resurrection. That because of what Jesus did in defeating sin, death, and the grave, that he gives you and I the same power to do that today. It doesn't mean that life is going to be simple or that we're going to have all of those joys right now. But because I cling to the hope that Jesus offers, that I can rest in that today, to know that not just today because it's Easter Sunday, because get this, church, next Sunday we're going to gather together and we're going to sing songs just like we sang this morning. And Jesus is going to be just as alive next week as he is this week, but Jesus is also going to be just as alive tomorrow when you're heading off to work. Tomorrow when your kids are waking up for school, they've been on spring break all week and they don't want to wake up. And mom and dad don't want to wake up either. We're like, we've enjoyed a little bit of sleeping in, and we say, man, the hope that Jesus offered is getting me through today as much as it does tomorrow. And if today you're broken, if today it seems like, man, my marriage is in conflict, I don't see the hope isn't found in us figuring things out for ourselves. Our hope is found in saying, Jesus, I want you to be Lord of everything I do because I believe you've been raised from the dead. And if you've been raised from the dead, then you can bring hope into that marriage that seems really desperate right now. You can bring hope in that diagnosis that seems terminal right now. You could bring hope into the depression that I'm experiencing that I feel like I don't even want to get up out of bed in the morning. That Jesus can bring that hope. It's not based upon being a good church. It's not based upon good music or good messages or any of those things. It's based upon the hope of the linchpin of our faith resting on Jesus is alive. We have proof of his resurrection. But there's also a vast amount of information, a vast amount of hope on what his resurrection proves for us. Today, if you're broken, today, if you're hurting, today, if you think, but JJ, I've done all these things in my life that I don't think I can come back from. I've made these mistakes, and because of that, I've never felt the freedom to come to Jesus. I'm telling you, there's no one beyond the reach of the resurrection.